Good evening. My name is Richard Smith, and I am the host of Issues. This evening we have with us Miss Lauren Grant, and she is with LorraineRestHome. Good evening, Miss Grant.
Good evening, Mr. Smith.
Could you tell us your position at the rest home, please?
My position at LorraineRestHome is that I am the administrator. I am responsible for the day-to-day running of the home, but the governing body of LorraineRestHome is the Warwick Parish Council, so I am accountable to them for any other issues.
Okay. Now, exactly where is LorraineRestHome located?
LorraineRestHome is directly behind St. Mary's Church, if you on Lorraine Drive in Warwick.
Okay, thank you. Now, what is your bed capacity?
We have a bed capacity of 30, but 29 in total because we have one female respite bed. We cater to both sexes, male and female. The age range is from 65 upwards. At the present, we have the youngest is 68 and the oldest is 97 years old.
Now, I understand that you recently completed some renovations.
Yes, we did. We had an additional 4 rooms downstairs, which can hold 8 residents. It's a mixed unit whereby it holds 4 men and it can hold 4 women. And that was recently opened May the 18th, I believe, sometime early in the year.
And I think you had some government officials there also.
Yes, we had the Honorable Paula Cox, and as well as Patrice Miners and other government officials attended the session.
Now, are there any vacancies at your home?
Yes, unfortunately we had 2 recent deaths, which means that we have 2 female beds available.
I heard also that you have a fabulous day program, or daycare program.
Yes, we do have a very active aging daycare program. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning and we finish at 4. The daycare program can consist of programs like devotions. We try to get the residents to participate as much as possible. Somebody starts out with a daily bread reading. Another person may do the newspaper group, and they have active discussions on world events, Bermuda events, political activities that they discuss. And we also have a lot of we have an exercise group, a dynamic exercise group run by Mr. Paul Harney. He's a fabulous gentleman. He adds new life. They rejuvenate. We've seen an improvement in the residents. Many of them suffer from arthritis, but we try to get their joints moving as much as possible.
Very good. Now, since this is the Christmas season, what are some activities that the residents would be involved in?
Well, we encourage them to go out as much as possible. We have a lot of activities like the Kiwanis Christmas party, the Bermuda Regiment, that they have a seniors luncheon, and the RA, they also invite the residents out. There's also a bus ride into Hamilton or Somerset at night to view the lights. We have a lot of school groups, the nursery kids, the high school students. They come and sing Christmas carols, and they all look forward to that, as well as gift wrapping. And we also do a lot of baking as well. Cassava pie. We have one particular resident who's an excellent baker, and he does a lot of baking. So we're very active.
My last question to you, Mrs. Grant. If someone has an interest in having their relative participate in the day program or be a resident, how would they get in touch with you?
They can call me at LorraineRestHome. My hours of work is from 9 up until 6, so they can call 236-5152. We have vacancies for daycare residents, and we also have vacancies for long-term care.
Thank you, Mrs. Grant. We're now going to be talking to some of the wonderful residents from LorraineRestHome. Would you please give us your name and tell us how old you are?
Ruth Simons. I am 97 years old.
And young lady, would you please tell us your name and how old you are?
Elma Simon Tuso, and I am 92.
Wow, amazing. And you
Plus a few months.
Plus a few months. You ladies look very, very young. Now,
Thank you.
Tell me, Mrs. Simons, can you remember Christmas when you were about 10 or 11 years old? Can you remember some of the things that happened at Christmas time at your home?
I remember my parents would be getting everything ready for Christmas.
What are some of the things they did in terms of getting ready? What did they do? How did they do that?
Pie and pudding, cake.
Did you help with any of those baking?
Yes,
Ah.
I used to help.
Very good. Now, Mrs. Tuzo, what was Christmas time like? What was New Year's Eve like in your home?
Very quiet. Well, we lived in St. George's, over by the beach. There's only about 8 houses over there.
Mm.
So New Year's Eve was very quiet. Matter of fact, nobody even bothered about it.
Wow. Now, in your home, Mrs. Simon said in her home there was lots of cooking. Did that take place in your home?
No, we ate dinner with my grandmother
Now,
up at her home.
was that the family get together at Christmas time? Were there a large number of people at your grandmother's home?
Well, the family was a small family anyway. I think might have been about 14 of us.
Wow.
All had dinner at my granny's home. We stayed just below her.
What was your granny's name?
Susan Sewell,
Susan Zool.
Zuill.
Thank you so much. Now, Mrs. Simons, can you remember a particular special Christmas gift you might have received when you were a little child?
Christmas gift. I received a tea set. You mean as a child?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
a tea set.
Tell us a little bit about that tea set.
Well, it had little cups and saucers, and it had even, you know, a little dish you could have your food in. Was really like a set.
Right. You remember who gave you that gift?
It's been so long. Big gift now. Just say my father gave it to me.
Very good. Now, can you remember what downtown Hamilton looked like? Mrs. Tuzo, can you remember what downtown Hamilton might have looked like at Christmas
I
time?
did not come to Hamilton until 1935.
And what year were you born?
I was born 1920.
And you didn't come to Hamilton until 15 years later?
I lived in St. George's.
Wow. Well, back then, how did people get from St. George's to Hamilton?
Bus, bicycle, trolley car, anything with wheels that could run.
Wow. Now, Mrs. Simons, can you remember what Hamilton might have looked like back when you were a child?
Well, Hamilton's improved now, but at that time it wasn't no cars.
Mm-hmm.
It was just buses.
They had buses back then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen some pictures. Were those motor buses or horse-drawn buses?
It was buses like we have now.
Buses like you have now.
Yeah.
Now, how have you seen Christmas changed over the years, or is it just about the same, or has Christmas changed? The celebration of Christmas and the focus of Christmas, has it changed since you grew up?
Well, it is changed a great lot because Bermuda's changed a great lot.
Mm.
It is changed.
How have you seen Bermuda changed over the years?
Well, different places like hotels and different things are changed, made it uplifted.
Now, Mrs. Tuzo, have you seen any type of change in Bermuda?
In Bermuda?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
What are some of those changes?
Well, when I was coming up, we would leave our house open. All the windows, doors, everything open. And we go up on the hill and watch the moon come up over the Coot Pond and the trees, the shadow of the trees on the water.
Yes.
Radio would be playing home, because you only got radio at night anyway. And doors would be open, windows would be open, and we'd be up on the hill, listening to the music and watching the moon rise. Wow. And it was beautiful.
Wow, amazing. Now, Mrs. Simons, Mrs. Tuzo mentioned about being able to leave her home open when she was growing up. That was the same thing that took place with you when you were growing up. Your parents could leave your house open, and there was no fear of anything.
That's right.
What were the neighborhoods like back then?
Well, the neighborhood was quiet and more friendly, you know.
Yeah, and I can imagine that as the children ran around the neighborhood, everyone kind of took care of the children as they ran around.
Sure.
Quite amazing. Well, ladies, I thank you so much for being on Issues. I thank you for sharing your experience with us. And you are 97 years old, Mrs. Simon,
That's right.
and 92 years old, Mrs. Tuzo. And you ladies look very, very young.
Yes.
And thank you so
Why,
much.
thank you.
Okay. We have one more guest that we will talk to from Lorraine's Rest Home. Christmas is a time of family. Christmas is a time of relatives, a time of love. This evening I have with me my daughter Richay, and she will be talking to her granny about Christmas time.
Granny, can you tell us your name and how old you are?
My name is Eula. Eula Hill, and I'm 93.
93.
93, going on for 94.
Okay. Can you tell us what Christmas was like when you were 10 or 12?
Oh, yes, in a way. I am at 10 or 12. Well, we used to do a whole lot of things, like go to people's houses and all. And now I'll tell you about Santa Claus quicker. I found out about Santa Claus, which they kept it to us, you know. So this morning, we all, I was supposed to sweep this floor. So my mother told me don't sweep in the bedroom, because every day we would sweep. So anyhow, that time I put the broom under the bed, and when she told me don't sweep, the broom touched something, and I'm saying, now it's something under that bed that I've got to find out what's happening. So when she went to work, I got under the bed, and I couldn't really turn the paper because the paper was so thick. So what I done, I put my mouth down and wet the paper, and I got a big hole in it. So then I put my hand under the paper. So then I found out it was a doll, doll's face. So I said, oh, I've got a doll. So I didn't say nothing to them, but I was anxious for them to, because we had an upstairs and downstairs. I was anxious for them to come upstairs to get the presents. So anyhow, they came up. Every time they came up, I would get up out of bed to see what they do. So they'll say, get back in your bed, get back in your bed. So then we had singers used to come out sing Christmas carol, and they would like North Shore Band, and I wanted to see them too. So I cried, and also my grandpa, we called him Dada. Dada said, let us see the band. So then I saw the band, then I went back to bed. And the next morning, we was up early. I went downstairs, looked at the Christmas tree, and when I pulled out my Christmas tree, my doll, my present, it was a doll. So I said, oh, I know I'm getting a doll, I got a doll. So my mother said, how did you know? How did you know you got a doll? I said, well, because I put my hand in the package and found the doll's face, and I knew it was my doll. So she said, oh, yes, next year you'll be getting a because see, when they found out Santa Claus, you know, you don't have no Santa Claus, when they found out, like, they would give us some, put ashes in our stockings, you know, for being so rude. But I didn't care that this doll was everything to me. So anyhow, I went back downstairs, and we had our dinner for Christmas. But my aunties and my godmother always gave us a decent gift. Like she'll give me an iron, and the other would give me a washboard with
clothes and everything. We had things that we could use.
Practical gifts.
Instead of having a lot of toys and things. So that was our toys. So anyhow, we really enjoyed. I was so happy by that door. The door was a China door. You couldn't let it fall or nothing. You lay down and go to sleep and wake up, you know, had good eyebrows and all. But I was so happy about that door that I didn't get no more presents off. So that was it.
So you said you had dinner. What kind of things did you eat
Well,
for dinner?
we had like cassava pie and thing, you know, and pudding and everything. They put the pudding was they put in a cloth and put in a bowl, and then each one of us was stuck up the fire to get the pudding.
You stick the pudding up the fire?
The pudding was in a bag.
Oh, the pudding bag.
And we'll take turns and lighten up the what was cedar wood at the time, you know. But anyhow, I always thought about that door with us. And then we go for a walk, and there the baby carriage came after. We all had little baby carriages, and we take like Sundays, we'll go for the walk, take the baby little doll for the metal around, because I came from Flat. And around the bridge, we thought it was a long walk. We'd go take the baby for the walk around the bridge. All my little friends, you know, we go for a walk and come back home. That's what we used to do. We go to church, especially, you know, mostly in the morning, and come home. And that's what it.
Who would come over for Christmas dinner?
Oh, all the family, you know, because my mother had 6 children, 2 boys and 4 girls. So then my aunt, my grandmother was do a lot of the cooking for us and everything. So that's what we would do. We had the pudding and cakes, more cakes. My mother used to make cakes.
Did you help her bake cakes?
Sometimes, but I would wait the bowl. You know, after we mixed up, we would fight on the bowl.
To see who gets to lick the bowl?
We did. And my brother used to do the same thing. He'll say, "That's my turn to eat." So we'll argue about those things, you know. So it was a happy Christmas, and in fact, the life I lived was happiness anyhow. We don't have no fights or nothing, and we get around with the neighbors and all, because all the neighbors, everybody used to get together. It was kind of nice. So that's it.
Did you ever go to Hamilton during Christmas time?
Yes, no, not Christmas time, because my parents had too much shopping to do, because she couldn't take us to Hamilton. But we would go Hamilton once in a while in a trolley.
In a trolley?
Or, you know, and different things like that. But that was some things I was trying to think of the things that I used to do, you know.
Tell me, has Christmas celebration, have you seen it changed over the years?
Oh yes, it changed a whole lot. It's so much different, Christmas was, because we used to decorate our own tree, and what we used to do, we would get that lox flakes and beat it all up and put it on the tree like with snow. They would take the cotton and put that on the tree too. And then they had bells that would make it look like it was shiny and everything. So we enjoyed it because we didn't know anything else, you know, to do. We just had a happy Christmas and all. But mostly we went to church. Sunday mornings was our church walk. We had a long wait for the flats. We walked through we call it peak. We walked through the trees and all go to church, right over St. Mark's Church.
At whose house was Christmas dinner?
Whose
house did you have Christmas in?
They would all come to the house.
Your house?
Yes, because it's a small house, you know, and all, everybody would come there. And there's Sundays, you know, that was the first. We would all go to each other's house, like Sundays and all. So anyhow, I think about those things. It stays in my mind, you know, our Christmas and our, what you call them.
Tell me, your brothers and sisters and the cousins, when they came over for Christmas dinner, what were some games that you might have played, or what were the little children doing while the adults were eating or talking?
Well, we really couldn't sit around with the adults because they would say small errors. We would just stay in the living room or something when we had a living room.
Was it that children should be seen and not heard?
Not heard, that's the truth. And we would stand outside in the bedroom and listen to them talk. And
Thank you so much for being with us. It's nice to have my mother-in-law at Christmas time sharing with us what Christmas was like when you were a little girl. And Richey, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for being with Issues. Come back next week where we will have another interesting program for you.
Thank you.